I love when I make a matcha lemonade and it looks like actual swamp water. That color is unsightly. It looks like a frog should be swimming in it, but it's perfect. Welcome to Chaos Under Books. My name is Claire, and today I'm talking about the books I want to read for the rest of the year. I was originally going to say just the rest of the summer because for me, summer's just started. My summer reading has only started, but truthfully, mentally, I'm in fall mode. I think summer's overrated. I think we should celebrate Halloween from August, continuing through November. But whatever, I can't control the seasons. What I can control is the amount of books I read, and even that sometimes feels like a losing battle. I am by no means setting a TBR. This is not a strict TBR list that I have to stick to because I'm actually incapable of sticking to a TBR. The term mood reader isn't enough for whatever it is I am. I feel like it's offensive to mood readers to call me one of them. Mood reader, just like it doesn't have enough chaos. I'm the type of reader who will read 9 books at once and then get distracted by something new, pick that up, and then not even finish that. So whatever that is, that's what I am. Anyway, I've broken these books into 4 categories, being digital arcs, library loans, short books, and recommendations from people I trust. So let's just jump right into all of the digital arcs I have downloaded on my e-reader that have been piling up. It's actually scary. I hate to say it. It's an e-reader summer for me. At the beginning of this year, I was struggling with a really bad bout of insomnia, so I started sleeping with this under my pillow. So in the middle of the night, when I would wake up at like 1:30, 2 a.m., I would reach for this instead of my phone. And I feel like that made my sleeping habits get a little bit better. What has not gotten better is my neck galley ratio. That I have to build up slowly from the depths of hell. It's really, really bad. I can't stop requesting books and then just ignoring them. And I need to be better. That's a running theme that will keep, I need to be a better reader. This summer, I did manage to read The Compound, which I did not enjoy, but was a digital arc, so I managed to check that off my list. And I'm currently reading Flesh, which is another digital arc, so we'll check that one off. But when I tell you that 2 books is basically nothing, like it's not even a dent in what I have done to myself, like it's not good. So of the many, many digital arcs that I've accumulated, the ones I would like to prioritize are Sunburn, which is out now from Melville House. I've heard really great things about this. I feel like it was out in the UK for a while before it was published in the US, but don't quote me on that. I also have Weepers, which is out now from FSG. I listened to the author's interview on NPR's Book of the Day podcast, which I really love that podcast, and I thought it sounded really promising, so I'm intrigued. I also have Dwelling, which is also an FSG publication, and this one also has an NPR's Book of the Day podcast, which I listened to this morning. What can I say? I love the Book of the Day podcast. We also have The Wilderness, which comes out on September 16th from Mariner Books. I remember seeing one person talk about this, I want to say on Goodreads. I don't even remember. I don't remember who said it. I don't remember what they said, but it was enough to get me interested. So I requested the book. I got the book. Now here we are. And then finally, The Island of Last Things, which is out from Flatiron Books. I saw Cameron from Slaggy Book Club. It feels wrong for me to say that. Cameron talked about this in a recent video. She like unboxed it as part of PR, and whatever she said about it got me interested. So I requested it. I got it. You know the drill. Now all of those are on this, and I'm going to read them, and that's the plan. That's just the priority list. There's a ton of other releases that I have on here, some of which don't come out until the fall or early next year. I have the new Brandon Taylor, which is exciting, and the new Emily Austen, as well as the new Bryan Washington, which I've already read, but I want to reread before the publication date. So a lot of new releases, but I have to get through some of the ones that have already come out because that's embarrassing before I can get to the newer ones. Just a lot of progress needs to be made. I'm going to glue this to my hand for the rest of the year. Maybe that will help. Next up, we have library books. This is the most embarrassing part, I can't lie. I moved with overdue library books. That's unhinged. I don't know why a person would do that, but I did it. So I simply have to be a better person than I was 3 months ago. I have to read the books that I checked out from the library because it's not fair to my library and it's not fair to my fellow library patrons. So I'm going to read the books, and we first have to start with all the books I checked out when I was attempting the International Booker, which I guess I'm still attempting. There's no deadline because I still have the book, so yeah. First up, we have Heartland, which I believe won the International Booker this year. I attempted to read this at one point in the middle of my bar studies. I read it for a little bit at a picnic table at a coffee shop, and then I didn't pick it up again. So that's where we're at. But I will restart and give it a fresh try. Then we have Reservoir Bitches. I know nothing about this. I think Ivana liked this, if I recall. I believe I posted about it once on an Instagram story, and she commented. If not, I'm totally misremembering, and I'm sorry. Next, we have The Book of Disappearance. I know nothing about this. I want to say it was shortlisted, but maybe I'm wrong. I'll leave a link in the description for the International Booker because, again, I'm not an authority on any of this. I couldn't tell you anything about these books. We also have Under the Eye of the Big Bird. I know a lot of people like this one, so I'm hopeful about this one, most of all. Next, we have Eurotrash. I heard mixed things about this one, but for some reason, I think I will like it. I think this cover sucks. The UK cover, that one is so much better. We also have On a Woman's Madness. I checked this one out first and then did not crack it open, not even once, so that's embarrassing. I should read it. Finally, as if that stack is not embarrassing enough, we also have Solenoid. This book is scary. I know most people abandoned this one when it wasn't shortlisted or didn't even bother attempting it. For some reason, I think I can do this. I've been saying I want to read big books again, and maybe this is the first one on the list. Or maybe it's something I return unread. Place your bets now. And then, because we're not done, I still have books checked out for the regular Booker, the domestic Booker. What are we calling it? I've normally just called it the Booker Prize, but when I'm talking about it with the international Booker, it feels, I need something else there. I need another modification. Modifier? Adjective. I need another word before Booker. So these are the books I've checked out for the Booker Prize. The first being Love Forms by Claire Adam, Blair Haunting Me Every Day, Audition by Katie Kitamura, and then we have Endling by Maria Reva. I learned that this one is about a snail. So in the quiz where it says Memoir of a Snail, which I did not research, I'm sure I had reference to this one. I love snails. Actually, I love snails. I love snails, frogs, most things that I probably shouldn't like because I don't like things that are like slimy. I'm gonna cut this. There's literally a snail on the back cover. I don't know if you can see that little guy. Nobody told me it was about snails beforehand. Maybe if I did research, I would have learned it was about snails. I can't blame anyone else. This is fully on me. So yeah, as you can see, between the International Booker and the Booker Prize, my library is about to put up a wanted sign with my face on it, because this behavior is unacceptable. Next up, we have short books, which are the backbone of yearly reading challenges everywhere. I don't do a yearly reading challenge anymore. It was really bad for me because I was just sacrificing what I wanted to read in order to reach some arbitrary number. But now that I'm free of those burdens, I just want to read a few short books on my shelves just to make room for some of the others. And I just want the rush of like finishing a book in a day again. Maybe that will give me my serotonin back. We can hope. So first we have The Post Office Girl. I saw this recently at a Barnes & Noble and I picked it up. I love a nerd. NYRB, for those who aren't familiar with me calling them nerds. I feel like I stole that from CJ Reads. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've heard good things about this. I think Melissa on YouTube, I think her handle on Instagram is The Post Office Girl. So I'm assuming that's what this is from. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. I don't know. I've heard good things about this and I want to read it. So love a nerd. I have a stack of nerds that I haven't been reading, so need to get to them. Next up, we also have Coexistence by Billy Ray Belcourt. I had a digital arc of this, and I read half of it, but the formatting was making me upset on my e-reader. So I went out and bought a physical copy, and then I didn't finish the book. But I would like to get to it, because I've only heard great things about it, and I really like this author's work. I've read at least 2 other things from him. So next, we have Who Will Run the Frog Hospital. Cass and I have been joking about this book for so long. She read it, and then she bought this for me, and then I have not read it. I should get to it. I started it last summer, 2 summers ago, and I read, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 pages, and I just didn't finish it. And that's kind of a recurring theme. But yeah, this is such a short book. I'm capable of sitting down and reading it in a day, and I would like to do that, so it's on the list. Next up, we have It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over. I believe this is a zombie book, and I love zombies. Shaun of the Dead is one of my favorite movies. I like zombie media. I think this sounds promising. And I like things that are a bit existential, so I feel like this will fit the bill, and it's so tiny. I also have Elena Knows. I know Kat from Lit with Kat really like this book and this author, so I'm excited to read from them. Can I just say, this Netflix little logo is abominable. I hate it. I was at a bookstore and I saw on a Penguin Classics edition of East of Eden by John Steinbeck this little thing. Why? Do you think John Steinbeck needs the Netflix hype? No, get it off the book. It's annoying. Stop it. And thank you for listening to that rant. Excited for this book. I have high hopes. It's tiny, and I'm excited to read from this author. Finally, we have The Seas. I also believe CJ was the first I heard talk about this, and I looked, the font in this book is massive. I could finish this in a day easily. And again, that's the goal. I would just like to sit down and read a book and not pick up my phone. And I feel like that's good for me. Will be good for me if I manage to do it. Finally, we have book recommendations from people I trust, or just me following the reading lists of other people. I'm determined to find one book, at least one book this year that I enjoy. And if I can get it done on my own, I will look to people who are smarter than me to help point me in the right direction. So that's what this is. And maybe what I need is a classic. So I'm going to read The Count of Monte Cristo. Maybe. Lindsay on Instagram at Lindsay's Literary Things is the #1 influencer of classics for me. I've got multiple classics based on her recommendation, none of which I've read. So hopefully this will be the first one. I actually tried to start reading this in March, I want to say, and I made it to page 52. My bookmark's still in there. I will probably restart. I don't know why I would start reading this in the middle of a semester, because that's not a smart decision, clearly, because I stopped at page 52. But maybe now that I'm not burdened by law school reading, I will be able to make a little progress in this. Continuing on the big book trend, we have The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis. I bought this a long time ago because Jalen from the Bar in the Bookcase loves this book. Nathan from Nathan's Nook also said Bret Easton Ellis this summer on his summer reading list. And Seesop, I believe, is also a Bret Easton Ellis fan. So, like, a lot of people I trust say this book, or at least this author, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful this will work out for me. And if not, maybe I'm doomed. Next, we have The Hours by Michael Cunningham, as well as Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I love this book physically. I think this design is so fun and so cool. Cass and I met Michael Cunningham at an event last year, I want to say, maybe 2 years ago. Time is a construct, who cares? Cass and I met him at an event for his newest book, which I want to say is called Day. He's a real kooky guy. That's the best way I can describe him. I remember him talking about Instagram and lasagna, and that's about it. I read the book and I thought it was fine for the most part. I've heard better things about this one, and a lot of people are recommending Virginia Woolf, which I've never read before. I know Cass likes Virginia Woolf, has read at least Orlando, has multiple copies of Orlando, at least at one point did. Cass, fact check if you still have the Orlando copy that has Tilda Swinton on the cover, because that I feel like is a masterpiece. Kat from Kat's Field Notes also said Virginia Woolf this summer, and Rin has also been reading a lot of Virginia Woolf. So, a lot of people I trust making these recommendations. Next up, we have The Late Americans by Brandon Taylor. I know Jalen is a Brandon Taylor truther, and I would like to join that club. I read Real Life back in 2020, and I did not like it. And that was on me. I feel like I wasn't in the right headspace for it. I wasn't the target audience for it. Something about me was wrong. And I can admit that, because then I read Filthy Animals years later, and I really enjoyed it. So now I want to get to this one, have a fully formed opinion, and join the club, because I feel like I'm going to like it. I also have an arc of Minor Black Figures from the publisher, so I would like to, I'm a bit of a completionist. I like to read an author's entire backlog before I get to the new release. So would like to get to it. Finally, we have Breaking and Entering by Joy Williams. I don't remember when or where, but at some point in time, Nathan from Nathan's Nook mentioned this book. I don't remember what was said, if he even liked this book. I just remember seeing this, and something about it stuck out to me. So I've been looking for it ever since. And it hasn't been easy to track down. In the meantime, I've accumulated 2 other Joy Williams books. One being Harrow, because Hernan Diaz recommended it, author of Trust, who I do trust, and some other book I can't even remember the name, because I found it at a thrift store while looking for this, and it was only $5. So I was like, well, might as well. But I've finally been able to track this down on Thrift Books. It popped up, so I bought it. And now I'm going to read it, and that's kind of the whole thing. I couldn't tell you a thing about this, but I need to get into the Joy Williams of it all, because I also have a digital arc of her new release. Is it just called Pelican? It's something about a pelican. There's a bird on the cover. I have a digital arc of that, and again, the completionist in me, I want to read what I have of hers before I dive into that. So those are all the books, and if all else fails, I have a Hanif book waiting for me. I bought this, A Little Devil in America, maybe on any bookstore day, at some point at the end of April, and I got it signed at an event he did in Pittsburgh at the beginning of May. And he was so kind. He stayed after, talked to all of us, signed all our books. He talked to Cass and me about Fall Out Boy and the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it was such a great time, and I love and respect this man so much. Nothing he can write can fail me. So, if all of these other books fail me, this one. And that's kind of what I'm making on. Okay, those are a lot of books. Hopefully I get to some of these, maybe all of them. It doesn't really matter how many of them I read. Hopefully this just gives you an idea of what you can expect from me. Leave a comment if you have thoughts on any of these books, if you love them, you hate them, if you think there's any that I should definitely avoid. Please let me know. I don't want to read another book I hate. I really don't. But yeah, just let me know if you have thoughts on any of these. Would love to know. I will see you next time. Bye. This won't mean a lot to a lot of people, but this weekend, My Chemical Romance was in Pennsylvania, not on my half of the state, unfortunately, but Mikey Way was performing wearing an Oasis shirt, so I'm wearing an Oasis shirt because I respect both My Chemical Romance and Oasis. I am so devastated I'm not seeing Oasis, but there was just like no feasible way for me to get to any of their locations or at that price point, but majorly jealous of anybody who gets to see My Chemical Romance and or Oasis in the year of our Lord 2025. I can only dream of days like this.